Good evening, this is your Athens, Georgia County weather girl, and I'm here tonight to talk with you about the weather. And I would not ordinarily get on to a stream for a random thing, but we are currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's a little different from a watch. I mean that there is an active thunderstorm on the way to us, and we can see here on radar scope that right now there's a core of hail that's falling just over Arcade, and that is moving. So we look here, let's go back in time a little bit. You can see these are moving from the northwest to the southeast. And let me put my storm tracks on so we can maybe take a look at that. I think I've got my volume on tonight. I'm pretty sure I do. Let me just rotate my microphone this way so y'all can hear me a little bit better. Get my storm tracks on. Radar settings. Storm tracks. Track line. Initial point. Okay. So now I've got storm tracks turned on. So we can see that these systems that are moving in from the northwest towards Athens right now, they are heading our way. And these areas of purple that we see, I'm going to go ahead and stop this for a quick second here. So these areas of purple that we see on the radar right here, these are going to be where we would potentially see some hail falling right now. And that is currently falling right over the 129 Athens Highway, and also over towards the State and Winder area. There's a little bit of hail falling in that area, radar indicated hail. So we are in fact under a severe thunderstorm warning. There is no rotation happening on these systems, so we don't have to worry about any kind of tornadoes or anything. There's just not any kind of relative humidity. There's not a lot of shear in the atmosphere for that to happen. So we'll just take a look at the relative velocities and just show you right here. So there's a little bit of wind associated with a couple of these systems, but there's no rotation, there's no couplets here that I'm seeing. So we don't have anything to worry about that. It's just going to be, right now there's a lot of lightning happening out there. Let's see if I have lightning. Yes, I do have lightning turned on. So I just went outside to put my car cover on, and it was flashing quite a lot when I was just outside for those few minutes I was there. So this system was more or less expected today. I believe a lot of folks thought that Atlanta was going to get the brunt of it, and North Atlanta is getting some right now. So if we go a little further west, over towards Alpharetta, and then over towards Cumming, south of Cumming and Sugar Hill in the Suwanee area, you can see that really bright purple right there. Again, that's hail, radar indicated hail throughout the very far ends of North Atlanta. And those systems are heading towards Athens and the Commerce area. So we have a new thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for a little bit northeast of us, actually over towards South Carolina, a little bit south of Anderson. So these storms are starting to pop off. National Weather Service had issued yesterday an advisory on potential hail. We were in a 5% risk area for hail. And I wonder if I can get my studio mode. Let's see if that's gonna. I don't want that. Settings. Let's see if I can get chat to show up. I don't know that I can stream. And I don't see a way to get chat up, but I can also open up chat in the window over here and just see. Okay. One second, I'm just opening up some things here. Alrighty, so again, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. So what I'm seeing right now in the radar here is that we have several areas of radar indicated hail. So all these bright orange and red, that means very heavy rainfall is falling. And then where that changes to purple, and in some cases you can see little tinges of pink in there, that's usually where we start seeing hail. This does not look like significant hail, so we're not talking of hail like golf ball size hail, but there could be some hail falling from these systems due to the nature of there being a lot of very cold air further up in the atmosphere, which is conducive to having hail form. So right now, based on what these storm tracks look, it looks as though most of these cells are going to pass more to the north of Athens. So folks in the Winder, Arcade, whole Colbert areas are going to be more affected by this, is what I'm seeing right now. The thought was, through model data, was that this was going to mostly go. I'm so sorry. This was mostly going to go in a northwest to southeast direction, but we can see here this is almost flowing in more of an easterly to southeasterly direction. So it looks like we have another update from the radar. So that core of hail that's falling right now just to the southeast of Arcade, it's right over to Jefferson Highway. That is continuing to produce hail. And that system is going to, looks like it's going to dodge the bulk of Metro Athens, as it were. Looks like that's heading towards the Hull and Colbert and Comer areas here in just a bit. There's another area of hail. Looks like it's developing over here just west of Elberton, a little bit north of Carlton. You can see that over here if I can get my mouse pointer on it. This area right here. For the most part, this is looking like it might wind up may wind up dodging us, which is, I mean, great unless you have a really old roof and you're wanting some hail damage. So get your nature sometimes takes care of us, and sometimes it fucks us. Sometimes it does that. So I'll stay around on stream just for a little bit longer. When I first came down here, I was expecting this was looking like it was going to come over our area more than it would skate to our north. This should be the last bit of any kind of interesting weather we have for a little bit. I think that excuse me. The weather pattern is going to calm down a little bit for the next week or so. So this is going all the way back to nearly 7 o'clock, and it's 8:30 now, so you can kind of see over the past hour and a half. I think these storm tracks right here, I'm not sure they're entirely accurate. It does look like this system is moving more to the southeast rather than east. And it looks like we have another, if I can go ahead and stop the refreshing of the past history here. So it looks like we have another core of hail forming just over, to the west of Houston. And that's going to be right over a little bit north of Auburn, heading towards Winder. That's a pretty healthy looking hail cell right there, honestly. And of course we have another one just a little bit north of Sugar Hill, and that's going to be heading towards the Houston area. So there used to be a back in Houston, back in the 1980s when I was still a teenager. I used to ride dirt bikes and we were poor, so we didn't have a lot of money to spend on stuff. So instead of going to the Honda shop and having to buy new parts, we'd often go to this motorcycle junkyard that was in downtown Houston. This old guy, I don't remember his name. I can picture the guy. He had almost like a big afro kind of haircut. This white guy, smoked cigarettes and had a ball cap on. You know, just traditional Southern dude. But he had a whole yard full of all kinds of old, like, you know, road bikes, dirt bikes, mini bikes, you name it. There was almost anything and everything out there under the sun. So we would go there and buy whatever the fuck parts we needed for my little Honda. That was in Houston. I don't think that's there anymore. I really haven't gone to look and see if it's still there, but I'd be shocked. That's been nearly 30 years, more than 35 years ago. Okay, so we have another update on the radar. So it looks like the hail core that was forming over Houston, it looks like it's calming down a bit, as is that hail cell that was just a little bit southeast of Arcade. Looks like that's dissipated somewhat, and we're now just looking at some really heavy rainfall. Again, this is going to be north of Athens. So you folks out in Winterville, you all would be probably getting in on some pretty heavy rains out of this. That's not to say we don't have another hail core set in, but it looks like across the board, even that system that was just west of Houston a little bit ago, that one has also subsided just a little bit. There's a little bit of little radar indicated hail, but not as much as there was. Same goes for the system that was over near Alpharetta and Sugar Hill. It looks like those are also calming down a bit. So we have a couple new thunderstorm warnings. So there's a new thunderstorm warning issued for the Colbert, Danielsville, Colmer, Carlton, Colbert, Georgia areas. That's going to be west of Winterville and Athens, northeast of Winterville and Athens. So if y'all are in those areas, there's no rotation associated with any of these systems, so there's not going to be any kind of tornadoes happening for this. This is just some lightning, not a whole lot of lightning, but some lightning, and then there's potential for hail. We've been seeing some radar indicated hail with these systems, but there's not a whole lot of other than, you know, there might be. Let's just see what let's take a look at the velocities and see what we have. There's not much in the way of like high winds with this system. There's a little bit on the leading edge of these storms, but not a lot to be worried about. And there's really no rotation at all with any of these systems. So we don't have to worry about any kind of tornado threat or anything like that with this. We've got a pretty decent healthy cell right there over Danielsville, a little bit north of Danielsville. And right over Hull too. So we'll again wait for another radar update, but the last update kind of scaled back a little bit of the radar indicated hail. There was a lot more purple on the board than what we're seeing right now. I was going to go roller skating tonight, and I might still. I may still go roller skating. Who knows? Apparently I've lost my top. Here it is. There's a roller skating event happening at Fun Galaxy tonight for 90.5. Everybody's welcome to go to that. So, okay, we'll see what the next radar update is looking like and kind of take it from there. Kind of unexpected to do a live stream tonight. Honestly, I just wasn't expecting. I thought this was going to really duck us completely, and it kind of is almost. It's a little bit sticking to our north so far. Decent amount of lightning happening up over Houston right now. I went outside and proactively put the car cover on my little Honda car, just in case. So we are having a lot So there are a lot of reports of hail, which is what we've been seeing on the on the um, on the high res reflectivity, what we're looking at right now. But there are a lot of MPing reports for hail. The hail is small. These reports are saying they're like 0.25 inch in diameter, which is small hail. Nothing big. Nothing really damaging. I mean, and unless. So we are showing some reports back in Sugar Hill. So so back over here in Sugar Hill, if I can slide the map over here a little bit. So we have some reports of half-inch hail. So that's going to be about dime-sized hail, maybe nickel-sized hail or so. But most of the hail reports are for, well, we have a report of, so we have 2 reports of inch-size hail that's over Sewanee. What street is this? So over between Alpharetta and Sugar Hill, there were reports of inch-size hail through that we're seeing right now. These are not like these are MPing reports. These are public reported reports. So you take them with a grain of hail, as it were. So some of these systems are capable of producing some decent-sized hail for sure. So right now the most angry-looking cell we have is just over Sugar Hill. And that system, if we kind of put this into motion again, you'd almost think that system is heading right for Athens, but the storm tracks seem to think it's going to go more eastward, and it's kind of hard to get a handle, but it looks like it's going southeast and then jogging eastward. So those are, like, I don't see a lot of reports of hail over towards us right now. And like my theory is that there are a lot more people over in the Atlanta, North Atlanta area, and those people tend to be a little more tech savvy and are a little more familiar with reporting with MPing. MPing is a app you can download and you can report weather that's happening in your area, whether that be like strong winds or heavy rains or snow or sleet or whatever else. You can kind of self-report what's happening in your area. So there are more people and more tech-savvy people in Atlanta than there are, for example, over Houston or Arcade. There's not as many people that are going to be familiar with technologies like that. So that's why I feel there's not as many hail reports, even though we can see these little splotches of purple that popped up over Houston and over towards Arcade. There's almost guaranteed there's hail falling in those areas earlier. But it does seem like the hail cores are subsiding a bit, which is good. Again, unless you want hail damage on your roof, so you can get a better deal on a roof replacement. Not gonna lie, I'm sure there's people out here that are like wanting some hail to happen. I'm not saying I'm one of them, but definitely hear the thunder outside for sure. There's a little bit of lightning, but right now this is not as tricky as a system. It looked like it was looking really intense when I got on stream a little bit ago. It was looking pretty ripe, honestly. It was looking pretty bad. So Yeah, the storm tracks do have the bulk of this heading just across to our north. We're going to get a little bit of rain out of this, but it doesn't look like we're going to get as much really heavy rains as folks off to the north of us, Arcade, south of Nicholson, and maybe a little parts of Winterville, and especially over towards Hull and Colbert. Y'all are probably seeing some really heavy rains over in Comer, Georgia right now. I'm just going to do another refresh or so, and then if it still looks like it's calmed down and not ramping back up, I think I'll end the live stream for right now, and we'll come back and talk with y'all another time. There's a little bit of a cell that's happening over over towards Loganville, south of Snellville right now. Doesn't look like it's producing hail, but that one's just starting to ramp up and it's heading towards Monroe. So that might intensify a little bit. It's kind of a cell out to itself. It's all by itself out here, so that could grow in intensity. Again, there's no rotation associated with any storms. There's not going to be any kind of tornadoes happening from this. This is just strictly a very heavy rainfall, and then there's locally reports of some pretty significant hail. There's inch-size hail on a couple of the MPing reports that I was looking at in an area between Sugar Hill and Houston. So that area is kind of moving more of a east-southeast direction. So it's going to pass mostly to our north. When I first came on the stream, there was a lot of bright purple splotches all over this, so that's why I came down and joined on stream down here, just because it was looking really intense. Enough so that I went out and I got the car cover out on my little Honda. It's an older car, and I wanted to protect the paint on it. So we should get another refresh here on the radar, and if that refresh is not as intense, then I think I'm going to probably end the stream, and I might consider going roller skating. So we have a new thunderstorm warning, and this is going to be a little further east of us, Elberton area. They've got a pretty strong band of rain right now that's falling over Elberton right now, and that's going to be heading east over into South Carolina. Okay, we have another update. Let's take a look at the reflectivity and see what's going on here. So the band of hail that was over Sugar Hill, that is subsided now. It looks like there is actually no radar indicated hail falling at all right now. So, and the hail band that was over Houston that was moving towards Arcade again, that's subsided a bit as well. So I think that we've moved past any hail threat. It's always a possibility that some of this stuff could ramp back up. But these systems are moving they're moving east-southeast, and so they're basically, there's a lot of activity happening out in front of them. So I think that's part of why these systems are dying off a bit. When they first started coming into our area, they looked a little more discreet than what we're seeing right now, which is more of a wide blob of stuff. Whenever you have that wide blob of stuff, it kind of eats away the energy, versus when you have cells like down here, this little isolated cell, this discrete cell right here. Stuff like this can sometimes pop off and makes for some pretty interesting weather. But for right now, I think we're good, and I think I'm going to hop off the live stream and might go do some roller skating. All right, that's it for now. We'll talk to you at the next live stream. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.